Welcome to the first Cinema Bing Bong of 2025, the monthly film magazine podcast dedicated to navigating the total collapse of meaning in Anglophone society and forging a new god around which to hang tomorrow's ideology. I'm one of your hosts, Amelia, and I'm joined by Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca, what's up?
The new intro it was surprising to me what you just said.
Did you like it?
Well, I thought I was surprised because you got rid of the other one because it was going to be too much.
Yes.
And then you
Yeah.
And then you shot yourself into the sun.
Look, I'll tell you that in researching this podcast, which involves like looking around at things, I was kind of confronted by everything that's been happening in society to an extent that I wasn't prepared for in places that I wasn't looking for it, you know? Like, you read the news and you expect it to be like everything's bad and no one agrees on anything.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're looking at Letterboxd reviews and suddenly they're all like, gay friend told suck a dick on this one. And you're like, what does that even mean in this half-star review of Conclave?
I like to keep grounded in reality by...
That's what I said in the intro.
I watch the normal news every night.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
And so do my friends, and we message each other about it.
Okay. And how's that going
about like what
for you?
It's really, I think it's really good. It's because you know what's going on and you're also like not trapped in like an internet bubble. You're like watching these insane people on the street every day sort of saying what they think about what's going on, which is usually, oh yeah, I hadn't heard that, or yeah, you know, sometimes it's like just a normal like old man on the street and they're like, oh well, that's actually bad, I don't think they should be doing that. And then you're like, yeah, that's, you know, there is nuance to society. There's not sort of like strands of people who are evil and stuff.
See, I keep grounded by talking to my dad about what movies he's been to see, because he goes to the movies like every other day now that he's friends with all these old ladies.
Yeah.
And he just basically thinks everything's quite good. He hated Jojo Rabbit. He still talks about that. But he was going off about Emilia Peréz. He said that the woman in it was really good. He couldn't remember which one or what she did.
The woman.
And he said it was very bouncy.
Oh, I saw Emilia Peréz with my mum and she said that it was really bad.
Yeah, because I remember she was really offended by one aspect of it. Raz, do you want to tell us what that aspect was?
I think that we should wait till we get into the movies, I think. But I forgot about that, so I'm glad that you reminded me.
I've been telling everyone about that. Okay, so obviously the big news is that the Oscars have been announced.
The nominations.
The Oscar nominations for this year have been announced. And I feel like usually there's like a lot of grumbling and bellyaching and blah, blah, blah. This year, it's like there's been like an attempt to kind of like take down all of the pictures via like social media shaming campaigns. Do you want to present a report on this, Raz? Because this has been so crazy.
Okay, so I don't even know where to start. I think the first thing that happened was that people were... So it started off with the... I don't know how to say it, Amelia. The Ariana Grande fans.
I don't know.
The Arianators.
I don't think you can pronounce that wrong. I think that's fine. Go hard.
The Arianators were trying to cancel Isabella Rossellini for being a Nepo baby.
Yes. Humble beginnings.
Because it's so humble. And this was before the nominations were announced. They were like, that old lady doesn't deserve to beat Ariana for her sensational performance in Wicked. She was only in there for 4 minutes. And also, you're not going to know this, but her mum was actually in movies too.
Okay, wait, so, sorry, this is like a side issue. But there's been a lot of talk about, oh God, I can't remember what the phrase that people are using is that's really annoying, like category fraud or whatever. It's insane.
Oh, yeah, category fraud.
It's insane that Ariana Grande is in supporting. is in the supporting category. She opens and closes the film. She has the most screen time out of any character. If she's not a lead, I don't know what a lead in a film is.
Yeah, is there any other cases of that in these Oscars?
I think also Zoe Saldana is also people
she's
have been
Best Supporting, right?
Yeah, people have been talking about it for that as well.
She's like absolutely the lead character in that movie.
Basically, if you're not like named in the title, you get to be in the actress in a supporting role category. Anyway,
okay, so this is where the scandal started. I'm trying to like think of the timeline, and then the second one was I wish I had the quote handy. It was like enjoy your breakfast because I'm dropping your Zionist tea tomorrow, Zoe Saldana.
Yes, I saw that tweet.
And then it was revealed that Zoe Saldana, who is nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Emilia Peréz, was one of the people who signed Joe Biden's petition to release the hostages.
Okay.
Not like super juicy. But then to one up that, it was revealed that she had also done blackface to play. Was it Ella Fitzgerald?
No, it's Nina Simone.
Sorry. Oh God. Sorry.
But
Nina Simone.
that was like revealed kind of almost unintentionally because a film critic that I follow called Jordan Searles was just tweeting about how like she didn't like Emilia Peréz, and then in the replies was like, and I'll never forgive Zoe Saldana for this either, and then posted a still from the movie, and then it like broke containment and got into trying to cancel all of the Oscar, which is confusing because Zoe Saldana is black, right?
Yeah, and
so yes. But if you have not seen the stills from it looks fucking insane.
It looks very bad. It is like a very bad blackface. And then they were like, Fernanda Torres, she did blackface in 2007 in a sketch on Brazilian TV. And she's also nominated for Best Actress. And then she apologized. And then the people were like, well, how come Fernanda Torres has apologized yet Adrian Brody hasn't apologized for doing a Rasta accent and impersonating Sean Paul on SNL in 2003? And then
hey, he was also wearing like fake dread.
He was also wearing fake dreadlocks and a hat. And then people were like, well, why does any of that matter when Demi Moore is a pedophile?
Yes.
And nominated for The Substance. And then there was like a video of her kissing a child on the mouth as sort of like a publicity opportunity. And the video appeared to be from around 1990.
And then there was further Substance material.
Oh, yeah. And then, what's her name? Carly Farge, the director of The Substance, was like heavily Zionist, right?
Well, allegedly, because she's deleted all of the stuff. So,
okay.
Look, I think it is probably real, but also I wouldn't be shocked if it had been made up.
Did she do something else as well? Like, did she say something transphobic or something?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Is that...
And that's all that I can remember about.
It's been so crazy. I've had to see so many images of people in blackface, which is unpleasant. It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Apparently Demi Moore was kissing this teen. She was also a teen. She was 19. But they were co-stars in General Hospital, and it was his birthday.
Yeah, I think that, like, the image looks bad. But, and I hate to say this, that was, like, much more of a cultural thing at the time to be, like, a nerd gets kissed by a hot woman. It didn't really matter how old the nerd was.
No, it seems very much like it's because she said, like, I'm going to marry him one day. It's very like a kind of like, he's my, like, cute, it's like he's my little brother's friend or whatever. I don't know. It seems pretty harmless to me.
But the video was quite yuck, but I thought it was a product of its time.
Well, you know, no one wants to see a 15-year-old boy getting kissed. Okay.
Well, he looks like 12.
Yes. I feel like this is kind of...
Those are all the scandals that I can remember that are to do with racial faux pas.
Well, we already had the Anora scandal, didn't we? When they said that they didn't want to use an intimacy coach. And they're like, it's nobody's business but ours.
Yeah. So we can recap that.
Oh, I know. I think that's everything about that.
But I mean, if people didn't know,
Okay.
Mikey Madison said in an interview that they asked her if she wanted to use an intimacy coordinator in Anora or not, and she said that she was happy not to in an interview with Pamela Anderson, and Pamela Anderson was sort of like, ooh. And then that generated like a lot of conversation about whether that should have been her choice and whether it's like cool to not do health and safety.
Yeah, I think I found the conversation around it quite exhausting because I think a lot of people were talking about it as if it as if it wasn't a health and safety thing, as if it was like a moral purity thing. I don't know. I'm like, well, they probably should keep an eye on that stuff. Like it seems wise.
Yeah, because it's like, intimacy coordination. Intimacy coordination in film is not about like trying to direct like a sexy scene where you do tantric stuff. It's about like keeping an eye on everything to make sure that it's all above board and that no one becomes uncomfortable, and also no one accidentally gets assaulted or intentionally, and that the film doesn't get sued, right?
Yeah. It seems like a thing you would want to have, personally.
Yeah.
For many
but it also seems
reasons.
like a thing that young actresses could be sort of pressured into saying no to seem like they're chill and easy to work with.
Or you could just say no to because you were gung-ho and not, I feel like... But yeah, as like a health and safety issue, it's very like, oh, well, should we, check the regs on this? It's like, yes.
Nah, man, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm fine with being potentially crushed,
I've climbed up a rope before.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it's not really it's not...
Well, I trust you guys.
It's not entirely about the actors being comfortable,
Yeah.
It's like...
It is a workplace.
Yeah. Anyway. So I feel like this is all kind of basically been I feel like it's been an apt groundwork for an Oscar nom lineup that I personally have found deeply underwhelming.
Yeah. I don't even know at what point to talk about the AI scandals or the new scandal that I haven't told you about.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, there was a scandal around the Brutalist because it was claimed that they used AI to create plans for buildings, which they then had an architect mock up. Apparently, that's not true, but they did use quote unquote AI voice manipulation to improve Adrian Brody's Hungarian, which apparently the same company also did Emilia Peréz. But I think the term AI is not it's not being used there how it is in other circumstances. I think it's like
Yeah, it's very complicated because AI has become sort of like a catch-all term for a number of things.
Yes.
And some of them people in general are like very like morally opposed to, and some of them are basically fine. But there's sort of like no, at this point, and like linguistically it hasn't evolved to be different terms to describe the different functions of AI, right?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of the objections that people have to large language models and like generative image AI don't really apply to this kind of voice tweaking because it's modeled off of their voices. Like, it's not plagiarizing.
Yeah, it's like there's like these sorts of types of AI that don't sort of attempt to replace a creative individual or like a thinking individual with, sort of assemblage of gathered information, and instead of just doing something else like scanning images or changing vocals or whatever. Like, you think that sort of thing probably needs to be described in different terms, because a lot of what it does is like the same as like a computer program. But if you just said like, oh, I'm using this code or whatever to do this, then it would be fine.
Yeah,
but as soon as you call it AI, then it's perceived as being like extremely negative.
Look, you know me, Raz. I'm old school, and if it was up to me, they would have got some Hungarian guy who sounded a bit like Adrian Brody to dub all of the Hungarian.
But it's,
I think the
main
high notes in what's that Audrey Hepburn?
My Fair Lady.
In My Fair Lady, where some of the singing is Audrey Hepburn, and then anytime it's like slightly difficult, it's someone else.
No, what I was trying to say was that it's Felicity Jones's scene where she reads a letter in Hungarian that's like under the most criticism.
Oh, that's not just one scene. That's like a lot of the movie. Okay,
well, that's what it is. I haven't seen the movie.
Okay, but I think ultimately with all this AI stuff, the barriers are like the distinctions are quite unclear, and you do eventually just have to draw a line in the sand. I feel like it's just important that people kind of understand what they're talking about, because I feel like I've seen a lot of people just hearing that it uses AI, and I feel like maybe if you're not in like creative industries, you haven't seen how like suddenly every program has AI in the title, even if it's doing a totally different thing. Like,
yeah, and like even like for me, like every time you like sign a new contract or like renew a contract now, there are like all these clauses about AI.
Yeah, it's it's all been honestly so exhausting.
Yeah, it's just a huge pain. So do you want me to tell you about the new scandal?
Oh my god. Yes, please.
So the new scandal is the actress nominated for Best Actress, whose name I'm trying to get from this article and now suddenly can't see it, for Emilia Peréz, Carla Sofia Gascon.
Yes.
Has accused Fernanda Torres of being a hateful person.
What?
And spreading hate about Emilia Peréz.
Carla
And it's
Gascon has been like on the fucking warpath on like Twitter and stuff because not to like preempt anything we have to say about Emilia Peréz, but it is a kind of an evil-hearted film that is quite, I would say, cruel and ununderstanding in its depiction of trans people. But it does have this real-life trans woman in it, and she is not hearing any of that. And all the like trans people who are like saying stuff about the movie are getting like blocked and shit by her on Twitter, which is it's fair enough to be fuck the haters, but I also fuck Emilia Peréz IMO. So complicated situation.
So the thing is that she's given an interview where she claims that Fernanda Torres has been the one spreading all this hate about the movie.
Wow.
And that her and her sort of like posse are like talking so badly about the movie and about Carla herself and stuff, and that is actually against the rules of the Academy.
Oh no!
Because you're not allowed to publicly like speak negatively about any of the other nominees.
So did she actually say anything about Emilia Peréz?
I mean, this has sort of just happened in the past couple of hours, but not that I saw. I think I saw one post saying that she had actually told people to like stop talking shit about it and just like do your own thing, that sort of thing.
Oh my god. Sorry, I just tried to find out more about this and there's like an update from Edie, stop trying to eat the microphone.
There's a new update now.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
Oh man. Now that I have the Wikipedia open for Emilia Peréz.
Gascon has said, Fernanda has been a wonderful ally and no one directly associated with her has been anything but supportive and hugely generous. So she's kind of said...
She's trying to back down on that.
I think so.
Okay. And then it was also quite difficult to follow.
Yeah, because she said that there are people working with Fernanda Torres tearing me down.
Yeah.
This is god.
And it was difficult to follow because all of the updates were in Portuguese. Just like losing it because like obviously you know what Brazilians are like online, and they are like very, very excited to have like a Brazilian Best Actress nominee. So if someone starts like coming for her, then yeah, all hell was breaking loose. Okay, so that's the scandal section.
All right, do you want to talk through a little bit? I feel like we should go through the Best Picture noms because I feel like we've seen these since the last time we recorded, largely. It's a lot of films that came out like a month ago.
I just realized that we hadn't even seen Anora.
No, we hadn't seen shit, Raz. I'm sorry for cussing so much on the podcast Wicked today. And June.
We'd done it. We'd done our least popular podcast episode ever.
Yes. Well, we're getting...
And our most popular podcast episode ever were both released in December.
It's time to get back in the game.
People love Christmas and they hate musicals.
So, Raz, do you want to do it? Can you do it
for the very first time on Cinema Bing Bong?
A Bing Bong exclusive, nominated for Best Picture: Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, June Part 2, Emilia Peréz, I'm Still Here. Why is that nominees to be determined? Anyway, Nickel Boy. Do they not know who the producers are of I'm Still Here? Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked.
Okay.
That you cheer at the end. Woo!
Yeah, these are my favourite movies.
All of the best films of 2024, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Woo.
So, all right. So, how did you feel about Anora?
You don't have cash. could go chill out in a private room.
I got a kid who wants someone who speaks Russian.
My Russian is terrible. I can't even roll my R's.
No.
Я просто хотел тебе предложить. Ты хочешь быть эксклюзивно со мной?
15. Cash up front.
This is like, oh god, like we're having to go back in time now.
Yeah, well, so Anora is
Where I
also...
see this?
Anora's nominated for loads. And Sean Baker is up for writing and director and editor, which is incredible. And Mikey Madison is up for actress. And Yura Borisov is up for supporting actor. Did you like it? You're thinking a lot.
No. I'm trying to go. I think I saw it like 27th of December or something.
Okay.
I thought that it was very long, and I thought that it was boring.
Well, neither of those are like ideal movie qualities, are they?
No. I just thought, I don't know, I can't remember now, but at the time I was like, how long is this going on for? Like an hour of the movie is that do we have to do like a brief plot outline?
No, there are too many.
Yes, just like 2 sentences.
So it is about a stripper who lives in New York, and then she gets like a private client who is this like Russian gamer son of like extravagantly wealthy people, and they run away to Vegas to get married, but then his parents don't like that, and so he disappears and she has to drive around with goons, and that's most of the movie, is her driving around with goons. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's most of the movie, is her driving around with goons and looking for this guy. But the issue is that they didn't build any sort of emotional tension between these two characters, so you don't really care if he gets found.
Yeah, and I think I liked some parts of Anora, and I do think that Mikey Madison's performance is really good, and I actually, what's his name, is my pick for best supporting actor, maybe. He was like the best part of Anora to me. But
He was the best part of Anora, but I don't know if he was better than all other actors, but I haven't checked the category.
Oh shit, no, this category is actually extremely tough.
Is it stacked?
Yes, I think so. So maybe he's not my pick, but he was the best part of the movie to me. But
yeah, I thought he was very good.
To me, it felt like a story in search of a script.
Yeah. It shouldn't be nominated for best writer.
Absolutely not. I think it was extremely underwritten, and you could kind of see the bones of like a 90s black comedy in there, but all of the scenes were so kind of like drawn out and hysterical and underwritten that there were bits that I enjoyed, and then there would be a scene that was just screaming for 10 minutes, and I'd be like, no, there's nothing to me.
I think that scene in the middle where the goons come and the man runs away and Anora is sort of held down physically by the goons and just screams is a real low point of the movie. And as you said, it's like so underwritten. You don't know what anyone's motivation really is.
No.
And as an audience, you're like, okay, well, I hope that Anora gets away, but
yeah, and it also
that's it.
The goons all feel like, because they're all like good actors, they feel like they've developed these kind of like comic personas, and each of them gets like maybe one joke to do.
Yeah, and so I think that makes some of the jokes feel like quite jarring because the overall tone isn't like very funny.
Yes.
And then someone like gets hit in the balls and does a joke, and you're like, oh, I don't know if this is.
Yeah, I also and I know that this is like a controversial opinion to have on Anora, but I found that the script was quite patronizing to the character of Anora herself.
Oh yeah, no, other people think that too.
I know other people think that, but it's like It's one of those like discourse issues. It's like
It's not the prevailing opinion.
No. And that was just kind of a bummer to me.
Yeah, because it was a lot of the movie is like, what are we supposed to think like that Anora wants out of this situation? There's no way that she could, as a stripper, believe that this client wanted to marry her and was like in love with her and was going to fix all her problems. And it has this sort of like this patronizing Disney stuff that Sean Baker is like brought from Florida to this movie.
Yeah, she wants to do her honeymoon at Disney World. Look, maybe that's an American
the Florida
cultural
project
thing.
is about like children who want to go to Disney World but they never get to, even though they live in Orlando.
Oh, okay.
And even like in the movie, like Anora's parents live in Florida, but she lives with her sister in their family home. It's very confusing. They tried to shoehorn Florida into that movie, I think.
All right, next on the list, The Brutalist.
There was a war on, and yet many of the sites of my projects had survived. My buildings were devised to endure such erosion of shoreline.
I brought you all out here to join me in looking forward toward the future.
What do you think?
It's unusual, even for you.
Your English is impressive. Perhaps you can help your husband sound less like he shines shoes for a wage.
Okay, so I haven't seen this.
No.
So
I saw this yesterday, and I've been feeling increasingly bitter about it since coming out of the viewing. Since coming out of the theater. So the Brutalist is an extremely long film. It's in 2 kind of 1 hour 40 parts with a built-in intermission. And it's about this Hungarian architect who escapes the concentration camps, or survives the concentration camps, and comes to the United States for a new life. He is separated from his wife, but then he meets up with this like wealthy guy called Harrison Van Buren, who basically becomes his patron and gets him to build this big church on a hill. And then Harrison's friends also help bring his wife over. And so the movie is about him building this big brutalist, basically rec center with built-in church on a hill, but it's very fraught because the movie has basically like every hot topic thing you could think of in it.
oh, really?
Yeah, he's a heroin addict. There is a bunch of sexual assault. His niece is a mute, and his wife is in a wheelchair. And his best friend is a black heroin addict jazz fan who's a single father.
Oh.
Yes. So
You got me there.
yes. So it I'm trying to start writing reviews on Letterboxd again. So if you have followed me on Letterboxd, you'll have already basically read this. But for most of the film's runtime, I thought it was a really well-made and beautiful film about stuff that I didn't care about, because it's about, you know, the tortured genius who no one understands him, and he's a heroin addict, but he just needs to do the thing that he needs to do. He needs to make his art, right? And I was like, well, I don't care about that, but the movie is pretty, so maybe it's fine and other people will like it. It has an epilogue that is set in 1980 and made me
When
so
is the
annoyed.
rest of the film set?
It's set from between 1948 and 1960.
Okay.
Yes. So it skips ahead to like a retrospective on his career that is like, parts of it are shot on like video, or like, you know, simulated to be shot on video, and it does all of these like
More than the Sean
it does
Baker.
it does all of these like 80s video transitions that would have been used on like a music video, but I am pretty sure would not have been used to film a speech about Dachau and architecture.
Oh my gosh.
And then also his niece gives a speech, but she's played by a different actress, which would be fine because it's in the future. However, the actress who played his niece is in the audience playing his niece's daughter. And it's just like so many kind of like just bad decisions, like straight up like confusing, bad, distracting decisions. And then there's a twist about the building that he was building. And look, maybe some people found it very touching, but to me it felt very pat, contrived. It was glib, and it made me just go, oh, there's not really anything. You don't really care about any of the actual stuff in this movie. And then there's also a whole lot of stuff about how sorry, I forgot that he moves to Israel at the end. He escapes America to move to Israel. So,
he escapes America.
Because he's like, everyone hates us here. We got to go where we belong.
Like because of the anti-Semitism in America.
No, it's not because of the anti-Semitism. They make that clear. It's because they hate foreigners.
Oh. White foreigners.
But it was just...
In America.
It's just really shallow to me, and like, Can you tell me what the twist was and then censor it out? So it turns out that
That's terrible. That's really bad.
Yes, so I'm probably gonna
keep saying that it's good.
I'm gonna cut back in there, Raz. With you saying that's terrible.
That's no good.
Yeah, it's
for the many real people that various aspects of these things have happened to.
Yeah. So I didn't love it. I will say it's got some incredible shots in it, and some of it looks amazing. And I'm never was, despite it being like 4 hours of being at the cinema, it's not boring at all.
Okay.
But it is just like, I think it overplays its writer's hand in terms of things they feel confident telling a story about. I think they maybe should have reeled it in a bit.
So the movie is sort of like Schindler's List, and it's sort of like Showgirls.
It's honestly, large parts of it reminded me of like a kind of like Sunday night theatre biopic that you'd watch, like The Life of this guy, because a lot of it is not that concerned with like themes or characters. It's concerned with like hitting things that happen to this guy.
Okay.
And then other bits of it felt like those kind of like great American novels of like the 20s, 30s, 40s, where it's like, and the American dream actually turns out to be a prostitute shooting your wife, and then you fall down the stairs.
But, it's all right because you can move to a place where nothing bad ever happens. Israel.
Absolutely. So The Brutalist is up for a lot of awards. The music was good.
But that's like...
the score was really good.
It's so annoying that people are saying that the reason why Emilia Peréz is on the lists is because of like sort of barely perceptible connection to Zionism.
Yes.
Yet The Brutalist.
Well, I think so. I wouldn't say the film comes across as pro-Israel. It comes across as very ambivalent about Israel, which I think is just not good enough for people at the moment. But I think it's worth remembering, like, I don't know. I don't think it's that switched on about anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I just meant like if people are going to talk that much about Emilia Peréz and Zoe Saldana as Joe Biden leader.
Well, I will say, if you go through the half-star reviews for The Brutalist, a lot of them are saying, I'm not watching this AI Zionism. So...
Okay.
I think that Felicity Jones, who plays the main character's wife, she is like by far the most interesting character. Like, she is a convert to Judaism. She's Hungarian, but she was educated at Oxford and she was a journalist. Her performance is really good, and I would say she's got a good shot for actress in a supporting role.
Okay.
Oh my god, that took a lot out of me. You can tell why I'm in the mood that I'm in.
Because you saw The Brutalist yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3, A Complete Unknown. I haven't seen this.
You tramped all the way from Minnesota. Why is that?
I wanted to catch a spark.
If you're traveling in the North Country Fair.
I say no one wants to hear what a kid wrote last month.
Well, I like your songs.
Where the winds hit heavy on the borderline.
Who wrote this?
He did.
Remember me. How about that?
So this movie is about... I don't know if I'm ready for this. The movie is... Okay, so the movie is about Bob Dylan. God, I'm gonna need to look up the name. It's like... Sorry, I need to look stuff up. Okay, so the movie is about... is about Bob Dylan goes to New York City for the first time in 1961 from Minnesota because he's heard that his idol, Woody Guthrie, is in hospital.
Yes.
And he meets Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger, and they're very impressed. He like sings a song for them, and they're very impressed, and they like sort of set him up with some connections, and then he meets this activist woman, Sylvie, and they start living together, but there are problems because Bob Dylan becomes very famous very quickly, and he also starts having an affair with Joan Baez. And then most of the movie is about how he decides that he sort of wants to move on from folk music, like, extremely quickly. But this is sort of to the detriment of all the people who've helped him get where he is. And they are mad. And he keeps showing up to folk festivals and, like, being a real dickhead and stuff. But he gets these new people on his side who are like, he's really onto something here.
He's really onto something with rock music.
Oh, so the people, the folk music are very against rock music and the British invasion. They're like, we built this community and it's so important to us. And Bob Dylan's like, well, I'm going to show up 2 hours late and I'm not going to play any of my famous songs, so fuck you.
So my big question about this, because listeners might not know this, but I am a loser and a nerd.
What?
Specifically for, like, folk music. And, like, I mean, like, folk music. Like, collected songs from people. Like, unknown author folk music. And so I'm interested to know...
records of school children singing and stuff.
Well, that's kind of peripheral to that. But yeah. I'm interested to know, like, what impression you got of, like, why they didn't like rock music. Because the thing that I feel like is missing from a lot of the, like, versions of this Bob Dylan story, which has been told a lot of times, is that, like, folk music was, like, politically meaningful to these people.
Yeah, that's in the movie.
Okay. And, okay. Because I think it's kind of sad that rock won, to be honest. I'm on Pete Seeger's side.
But Pete Seeger is portrayed to be a villain in the movie.
How dare they? My man, my boy.
And there's like, you know, trying to like balance the level of spoilers here, but there's a scene where he gets so angry at Bob Dylan.
What do you mean spoilers? It's just real stuff that happened.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm saying like, but I know that, you know, we both know that people don't listen to this podcast because they think there's going to be spoilers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just like...
So I'm loath to just say what happens at the end of the movie, even if it really did happen.
Are you talking about the incident with the axe?
I don't know what that is.
Does that not happen in the movie?
I don't know because I don't know what it is.
Okay.
What happens is that Pete Seeger like goes crazy at Bob Dylan at the Newport Folk Festival and tries to like unplug all the amps and is like having a fit.
Yes. So the apocryphal version of that story is that he tried to take an axe to the power cable.
Yeah, it's sort of like what happens, and then his Japanese wife like shakes her head at him, and then he stops.
Toshi Seeger.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the portrayal of her in the movie.
Okay.
You know, like, I guess maybe the real life person didn't talk much either, but it just, you know, it can seem when a white character has a non-white partner and that character doesn't speak.
Yeah.
The optics can look quite bad.
I don't know if she... I'm trying... Okay.
And, like... It was noticeable that, like, I said this before, and I don't think it's, like, a massive deal, but everyone in the movies is really, really skinny, except for the agent who is portrayed to be a dirty fat cat. Boom. And there's one line, there was this person who I kept seeing in the background who I was like, oh, that's more of a normal-looking person. And then there's one line where someone says, oops, sorry, Roberta.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But I think that, like, I think the film is fine and the film is, like, entertaining and stuff. And I thought, you know, Timothée Chalamet's performance is really good. The accent isn't as bad as it seems in the trailer. I don't know if they AI'd it or what. Monica Barbaro is really good. There was controversy about her being cast in the first place because they thought she was the wrong ethnicity to play Joan Baez, but she wasn't. She was really good too.
I love that was kind of like based on a misunderstanding of Joan Baez's ethnicity. It was very strange, that controversy.
It was based on a misunderstanding of both Joan Baez and Monica Barbaro's ethnicities, and one overexposed photo of her.
So do you reckon Timmy's got it in him to be best actor?
I don't know, because I know that you haven't seen Call Me By Your Name, but like no performance that he has done that I've seen. I'm saying that because I haven't seen Beautiful Boy, but I think I've seen all of his other movies. Like nothing comes close to Call Me By Your Name.
I've seen half of it, and it did make me get him in a way that I didn't before.
Right. But I thought that Elle Fanning was actually really, really good in the movie, and she was not nominated.
Oh.
She did an amazing job at what could have been, like, quite a pathetic character, you know, like, Bob Dylan's girlfriend, like, before he got famous, who has to, like, deal with all his bullshit. He does a lot of bullshit in the movie. Basically, the movie is, like, Bob Dylan doing stupid bullshit and annoying everyone. And then these, like, name drop reveals of these people who I didn't know who they were, and I don't think that an average audience member would either. It would be like, it would just, like, constantly, it would be like, hey man, if you don't have a guitar, you can borrow mine. And they're like, hey man, what's your name? And then he, like, takes the sunglasses off and be like, I'm Steve Bingle. Like, who the fuck is that? This happens, like, 10 times in the movie.
This sounds like my kind of picture. Maybe.
Hey man, what was your name? They're like, it's Adi Martin.
I'm one of the weavers that's not Pete Seeger.
I'm Frank, but everybody calls me John.
Frank John. All right.
Okay.
I think it's time to move on to Conclave.
And the other thing I'll say is that it is like filmed in like it's filmed the same sort of way as Green Book.
Elaborate on that.
It's just like very sort of like dated classic Hollywood of the like 90s, 2000s.
Okay.
It feels old.
Interesting.
But as in 20 years old.
That's old.
Yeah, that's it.
The Pope is dead. The throne is vacant.
What happened? They say a heart attack.
You know how rumor spreads, and 1.25 billion souls watching.
Well thought, no, Lawrence. It seems the responsibility for the Conclave falls upon you.
Okay, so Conclave is about Ralph Fiennes trying to herd together a bunch of cardinals to elect a new pope. And it's about the politics therein, as during the conclave, many and various scandals are revealed.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah, and then people keep saying this is just like Conclave about everyone who's nominated for Best Actor doing blackface.
Oh my God. How do you feel about Conclave?
I liked Conclave. Out of these movies so far, that's my favorite movie. But I didn't think it wasn't 100% for me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Conclave. I think the ending kind of relies on you being shocked by some things that aren't at all shocking to me.
Or me.
Or you.
Yeah, I was like, so we were both like, oh, okay.
However, I will say my dad found it quite shocking. He was like, whoa. Or at least that's how he described it to me when he was talking about it.
But your dad is like 80 years old.
Yeah, so I'm saying he really liked it. And it, I think it's just like a nice simmering drama. Lots of intrigue.
Yeah.
Solid movie.
But I don't think many people under 60 would be that shocked about the sort of reveal at the end.
I mean, I can tell you from my research, basically no one understands what happened at the end. In a way that I can't describe for fear of spoiling the movie.
Yeah, because it would just say what happens at the end. Yeah.
I hope Isabella Rossellini gets an Oscar for this.
You hope who? Mussolini?
Isabella Rossellini.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the issue with her being nominated for Best Supporting Actress is that she's only in it a very small amount.
That's classic. I mean,
that's what people had a problem with.
Yeah. Those people are,
but that's
those
what
people are wrong.
Supporting means.
Yeah.
I think that what we can say is that a lot of people reacted to what happens at the end by doing like discourse about oh my God, I formed the sentence so badly that there was no way to end it without saying transgenderism. I think
basically people think there's some kind of trans thing happening, which there just isn't.
Which is not what happens that's not what happens at the end of the movie. And it's like, you know, it's something that happens when people don't know how the world works.
I can also tell you, as part of my slow research rollout, a lot of people who like movies are just saying cunt about them now, which I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy people saying that Conclave was such a cunty gay movie.
It's really not.
It's really not. And I feel like it's kind of okay to say that about things from a different time where it wasn't possible to like make a cunty gay movie in the mainstream or whatever. But a movie from 2024 that just doesn't have any gay characters, it has like sort of a brief discussion of whether homosexuality should be allowed by the church or not. It's not fair to actual gay movies to say this is a cunty gay movie.
Yeah, I just feel like we've watered down cunt And I feel
watered
like...
it down so hard that it's just like a person wearing an outfit.
Yeah.
Or someone like being annoyed with someone. They're like, oh, that's so cunt. Wow, he really snapped.
Yeah. Being prissy is not the same as being cunt. We've got words for these things.
We've got all sorts of different words and everyone just fucking forgot all of them except woke and cunt.
Dune Part 2, we've already talked about on the pod. Raz, I got to tell you something about movies.
Okay, that sounds patronizing.
No, sorry. I don't have to... Sorry. I don't have to, like, give you a lesson on movies. I mean, like, I've got to tell you something about my movie opinions.
Okay.
I think I've softened on a lot of the movies that we watched in the middle of the year.
Yeah, because they pulled out all these shitty movies that had much more acclaim.
Yes, and also because I just come out of seeing a bunch of stuff like La Chimera, which, like, is incredible. And I feel like I was holding them up to...
pronunciation.
I don't know. I was holding them up to that standard rather than the standard of, you know, Anora or Emilia Peréz or Wicked.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so Dune Part 2, pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about that again, but I don't think it was... For me, it's not an awards movie.
I think it seems like a kind of a below-the-line movie. Like, it feels like they should be getting, like, costume or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, production design they're nominated for, and sound and visual effects. Yeah,
They're not
sure.
nominated for any acting roles, are they?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay. But also, I remember talking on the pod about challenges and me being like, oh, some of it's annoying. Challenge is so much better than so many of these movies that are nominated for Best Picture.
Challenges was like obvious. I think Challenges was obviously the best mainstream film of last year.
All right, following from Dune Part 2, we've got Emilia Peréz.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. According to our flight plan, to the right.
Hello, very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex change operation.
I see. Men to woman, or woman to men.
Man to woman.
From penis to vagina.
Oh my god. So we've both seen the movie.
Yes. Do you want me to give the plot summary, or do you want to do it?
You do it, because I'll take too long.
So, Zoe Saldana plays a lawyer who is doing pretty well, but wants to kind of like reach the next level when she gets contacted by a like mob boss with a secret mission that will pay.
She gets kidnapped.
She gets kidnapped by she gets contacted and then they contact her first.
She's like, who is this? And then some people like put a bag over her head and chuck her in the back of a car.
So she gets kidnapped by this mob boss who's like, I can give you more money than you could ever use if you help me with one thing. And it turns out the one thing is getting sexual reassignment surgery. Because the mob boss wants to transition her gender
via plastic surgery.
Well, yes. I mean, she's already been on hormones for 2 years or whatever.
Yeah, she says, I've been on hormones for 2 years, and then the camera shifts to the back and she unzips her tracksuit and Zoe Saldana's like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, that's understandable. It's like a horror movie reveal. That's, I think, one of my top 5 most offensive moments in the movie, to be honest.
For me, that was a number. I think that for me, that was probably like 1 or 2 most offensive moments in the movie.
Also, if you know anything about trans people or hormone replacement therapy, she does not look like someone who has been on estrogen for 2 years.
No, and people online were like, I still had some facial hair. This person has like a massive beard.
Full beard. Anyway, so basically, Zoe Saldana helps out the character Emilia Peréz to have this operation and disappears her and gets her a new identity. Then years later, Emilia Peréz reappears. I'm going to have to look up what is Zoe Saldana's character's name? Rita Mora Castro? Okay. So Emilia Peréz looks up the lawyer Castro, Zoe Saldana's character, again, and is like, I've got a new job for you. And it turns out that she wants to Mrs. Doubtfire her ex-wife in order to become closer to the children. So she pretends to be her own sister. So like
Cousin.
the long-lost aunt, yes, of the kids, and gets back into their life, and then also starts up a charity for to find the bodies of people who have been killed or disappeared by the cartels that she was formerly a major player in. Things are going fucking amazing for Emilia Peréz until jealousy gets the better of her and she starts fucking with her ex-wife, Selena Gomez, Jesse Del Monte's new man who has a handlebar moustache, and everything goes bad from there. It's a complicated bloody movie. It's also a musical.
Selena Gomez is like, I'm getting married, and she's like, no, fuck this guy, and then sort of like,
she's like, I will kill you.
Money. She's like,
is that when she does the voice?
She gets a guy to rough him up and give him some money to leave Mexico City, and then instead, I think you can say what happens at the end of fucking Emilia Peréz. And then instead of leaving Mexico City, he decides he's going to kill Emilia Peréz.
And he blows her up. Like, some stuff happens where it looks like it might not happen, but she blows up at the end.
They all blow up.
They blow up. Oh, no.
Except Zoe Saldana doesn't blow up and the kids don't blow up.
Yeah,
and then Zoe Saldana has to take care of the children, which they like built in the beginning with one line where she was like, yeah, I'd like to have kids, but I don't have a boyfriend.
This fucking movie is like deranged. I think if you made this about things that like a larger percentage of like English speaking people knew about, people would think that you would they would think that you were fucking crazy if you made the equivalent movie about like, I don't know, being gay in Canada or whatever instead of being trans in Mexico.
Okay, I want to talk about how insane that sort of even the premise of like transitioning via surgery is in the it's not like, it's a thing that some people do, but it's not really a thing that you sort of decide that you're trans and then you go and get 20 or so medical procedures and then you're like, I'm a woman now. That's not a thing that people are doing.
It's a very like Glenn or Glenda understanding of transsexualism. It's a very like 1950s like this is the story that was kind of like in the media about how it worked, because they didn't want the idea was that you got the operation and the stuff and you were changed and that was it, and now you're a woman. Like it's it's fucking mental. It's like 70 years out of date.
I know. And also that like,
and she gets the operation in Israel.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that the low point of the film is that the whole thing that like Zoe Saldana's like role is to go around the world and find an appropriate surgeon to complete all these surgeries, which you would never find because it's not, you can't have that many surgeries at once. This is not survivable. And then she goes to Bangkok, and then there's the most famous musical number, which is called La Vaginoplasty on the official
This
song
is the
name.
penis or vagina song that you may have seen on pop.
So
on
she goes to
social
Bangkok
media.
and I think that like even this was like racist, that all the people in Bangkok were wearing like traditional Thai cultural scrubs. And then the surgeon is like, I can turn a penis to vagina, vaginoplasty, mammoplasty. They just sort of sing about different surgeries. And then for some reason, she doesn't go with this guy, but we don't know why. She goes to all these other places. Then she goes to Israel and meets the surgeon. And the surgeon sings a song about it doesn't matter how many surgeries you get because you'll never be a woman.
Not the most transphobic song in the movie either. Which I think the honor of that goes to the children's song, "You Smell Just Like My Dad."
Because that song was the most racist as well.
You smell like my dad, like cigars and guacamole.
Yeah, the child sings "You smell like my dad," cigars, guacamole, and motor oil.
And
a glass of Coke with a squeeze of lime, and just...
I think one of the really interesting things to me as well is that the songs are so, like, dirge-like.
Yeah.
It's like, you smell like my dad. Ba, 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 ba.
We can give you a boob job. You can? Yes, I can. You will never be a real woman. However, I disagree with you. It's like more dirge-like than that. And there's also a sort of storyline where Emilia Peréz is a lesbian.
That was pretty good. That bit. Look, I think the thing that's hard to convey, because I think there's a lot of movies that are like kind of crass or maybe like offensive. Like Emilia Peréz is like so profoundly disconnected from reality that I found it like almost impressive. Like I was kind of like hooting and hollering. Like there's a reason that this was on like John Waters' end of year list, because it is just transcendently stupid, like transcendently like inhuman.
It's like Borat.
It's I've never seen Borat, so I can't comment on that.
Well, Amelia, I've seen Borat and I've been to Mexico City.
Oh shit.
Mexico City is the first place I ever went outside of the Pacific. And it wasn't like that. It wasn't just people eating tacos and stealing laptops. It's a proper, massive, sophisticated city. Like, obviously, it has social issues too, but it's not a tent city, definitely.
Completely mental to me that this movie.
But you can tell that it's French. It's a very French movie.
French. Yeah, because I was saying that it felt like a kind of a cross between Glen or Glenda and A Touch of Evil, but I feel like that fails to convey the Frenchness of it.
Yeah. What was your favorite part
of Emilia Peréz?
Yeah.
I liked whenever they were like shooting guns and blowing stuff up. I also liked the really bizarre scene in which it was like the camera work heavily implied that a woman was about to assassinate Emilia Peréz, and then it turned out to be
that's what I was.
A red herring because it's not a thing that they do in movies. It's like it's from like House or something. Like it's from a kind of evening TV show. That was incredible. crime time.
Yeah, I was going to say an evening television show. I was going to say that was my favorite part, was when the woman is like, well, you know, they have a meeting and she doesn't assassinate Emilia Peréz. She brought a knife because she thought that her husband was still alive and was going to, like, get her, but her husband's dead. And she's like, wow, I even brought a knife. And then, like, when she leaves, Emilia Peréz, like, puts her head over the balcony and she's like, wait, did you really bring a knife? And the woman's like, you got me, and, like, pulls out this knife. And then Emilia Peréz is like, haha, and then pulls out a gun.
It's so... And
then they have sex with each other.
And the whole movie is played like fucking stone-faced. Like, this is the most important shit in the world.
And then there's a scene where there's like all these servants and they play like cool boarders.
They are playing cool boarders, aren't they? All right. Next movie is I'm Still Here. I haven't seen it.
It has I'm
It's
gonna
not
give
come
you the
out
date
yet,
of
right?
it.
Yes. Okay.
I'll give you the date. 20th of February. 3 weeks today.
Very exciting.
I'm Still Here will come out. Do you know what date the Oscars are?
No. When are the Oscars? Sorry, that was
No,
my
I don't know. I was
that was my assistant. 3rd of March. We've got just enough time.
So we got time. So the thing is, I think I said this before, that Fernanda Torres' mother is like the most famous Brazilian actress of all time, Fernanda Montenegro.
Oh ho ho.
And one day we're going to do our Brazilian film special, and then I'll talk all about her. She was in the movie her most famous movie outside of Brazil, Central Station. I think it was nominated for Best Foreign Language Picture, and that was in like 2000. And she's still alive. I mean, are you still there?
Yeah. I'm listening.
She played an old person in a movie like 25 years ago, and she's still alive now.
She's still here, indeed.
She's still here. And an interviewer talked about her in the past tense to Fernanda Torres, and she had to be like, my mum is actually still alive.
Oh my God.
She's 95.
Neither of us have seen Nickel Boys.
No. It doesn't have a release date in New Zealand or Australia.
No, I might try and secure some eyeballs on that via
I think that's going to be
means.
the American fiction of this year.
I've heard it.
In terms of release here.
Okay. I thought you meant in terms of racial politics. I was like,
no. Not in terms of racial politics. In terms of we just didn't get it here.
Okay. Although, I mean, I think that does speak to racial politics, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
The Substance.
We already talked about The Substance, right?
We've already talked about The Substance. I quite liked it, but I don't think it's that deep. That's my review of The Substance.
Yeah, I didn't live for it, but I didn't think that it was bad.
And finally, in the Best Picture category, Wicked, which I believe our thoughts have been well and truly.
Yeah, we've already talked about that.
So before we move away from the Oscars, I just wanted to know if there were any nominations in other categories that you were excited about. I'm happy to see that Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong have been nominated because I think that their performances in The Apprentice were really good. And
I haven't.
Kind of the more I think about The Apprentice, the more I liked it. I would have preferred if Sebastian Stan had been nominated for A Different Man, which I think is a better movie and a better performance. But I'm glad that that's being recognised.
I think my major People were arguing about the definition of snub, so I'm not going to say snub. But my major omissions were a different man in the acting category. Like Sebastian Stan for Best Actor for A Different Man, and what's the guy? The other guy?
Adam Pearson.
Adam Pearson for Best Supporting Actor.
Absolutely, he should be there for Best Supporting Actor. I think that is a snub, because I think you could easily expect that.
Because people were saying that it's only a snub if it was predicted to happen and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but I think you could have predicted that to happen. It was a very well-reviewed movie that was specifically talked about for its performances. And it's like an American film. It's not out of the question. It's not like it was a student movie or anything.
Obviously challenges a snub in like many categories. I read that La Chimera was not eligible because it was eligible last year.
Yes, I think it's too old.
A snub last year.
Old snub.
Can't think of... Oh, I think that I also saw A Real Pain.
Me too. What did you think of A Real Pain?
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was groundbreaking, but I thought that it was good, and I thought that it might appear in... Oh no, it is nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
And Kieran Culkin has a Best Supporting nom.
Supporting Actor, which I think is fair. I mean... I didn't mean to make it sound that negative. Oh, fucking Pete Seeger is nominated.
Yeah, Pete Seeger.
I didn't
My
know
man,
that. Pete.
So before I forget, everyone should watch Pete Seeger, The Power of Song, the 2007 PBS documentary film.
Okay. Because if you just watch A Complete Unknown, you'll be like, this guy needs to like fucking stop being obsessed with not swearing and drinking and this land is your land and just fucking chill out for 5 seconds. But then I saw a Pete Seeger type at the market in the weekend, and I was like, oh, no one I know has seen A Complete Unknown yet, so I've got no one to text about this.
I would have known. I know what Pete Seeger's type is. I thought I really enjoyed A Real Pain. It's a kind of a small, quiet movie, and it does that really well.
What? Yeah, that's a good movie. I'd recommend to see that movie. It's really short too. I mean, it's like a normal length. It's like 95 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I watched it on the plane, and I almost got to see all of it before he even took off. Fucking Air New Zealand.
Oh my god.
I'm gutted that I Saw the TV Glow didn't even get like Best Original Song or anything.
Oh right, yeah, Best Original Song.
Or like, cinematography or something. I understand that it's like quite a weird movie. It's not going to get like director or picture noms, but it feels like it should have got something. Especially if you're going to nominate fucking Emilia Peréz.
Yeah, I think that the other movies that I particularly enjoyed last year were not eligible. So yippee. I don't think that The Room Next Door is eligible.
No.
I don't know when the Oscar period is, but we're not going to talk about The Room Next Door because Amelia is trying to see it. But if you have an opportunity to see it, then I very much recommend it. But you just have to know, like, if you're not a big Pedro fan,
Almodovar.
Yeah. What you need to know is that it's always that stylized and the dialogue is always like that. Like, don't go in expecting it to be naturalistic.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, because this is his first English language picture. I don't want to say, I don't want to use up all of our conversation about it, but it seems to me like a lot of people were kind of taken off guard by how stilted it was now that it's in their native language. So I'm interested to see how I find that.
If you're familiar with Spanish, then you know that's always like that.
Okay. All right, Oscars. Boom, biff, bang, pow. It's done. Raz, you had something specific to say about Robbie Williams' Monkey biography picture, Better Man.
I'm Robbie Williams. I'm one of the biggest pop stars in the world. This is my story, but I'm not going to tell it in an ordinary way because I don't see myself how others see me.
For the next 2 hours, your ass is mine!
To be honest, I've always been a little less evolved. I don't want to rock, so let's take it from the top, shall we?
Okay, so the situation with Better Man, I went and saw it, I saw it on Boxing Day. The premise sounded crazy, but then it was sort of like that. It was overtaken by this like new conversation because Americans don't know who he is, and they thought that it was like quite stupid to make a movie about people and if they didn't know who he was.
Yes, it's been infuriating.
Which is total nonsense to us as New Zealanders. People make movies about people we don't know or are not famous in our country all the time.
And they still get sold here and promoted here. It's like...
We still have to know about American football.
Yeah.
The fucking president, all that sort of shit. You know, we're not like, don't release Vice here, we don't care. Or whatever. But the movie is actually, as a biopic, Better Man is actually really good. Like, it's a little bit hammy, it's a little, I don't want to say cheesy after saying hammy, but it's like very emotional. It's not super subversive or like extremely deep, but it's like very well made and compelling, and it has like all the songs you want to hear are like in it and at appropriate lengths, and there's a very clear narrative. It's just like a very well made movie, but it's just bizarre that it's had this sort of backlash, not because of what we assume that Robbie Williams is played by a CGI monkey, but because Americans don't know rock DJ specifically. They're just always posting about, they don't know rock DJ and they don't know Candy. I don't even know Candy myself, and I would consider myself to be like pretty up to speed on the discography of Robbie Williams.
Yeah, I saw
that. I didn't know when they when they had songs like out of chronological order of when they were actually released and stuff. I like do know enough about his albums to notice that sort of thing, but like it's a very good movie.
I saw someone saying like they keep posting box office numbers for this, but everyone should know that this is not a Morbius thing where it's doing badly because it sucks. This is like it's doing badly because it's kind of a weird concept, but it's actually a really good movie, and people are going to come around to it and kick themselves that they didn't see it at the movies. I haven't been able to go because my beautiful and long-suffering fiance doesn't watch movies with monkeys in them.
Yeah, but I think you can watch it on your laptop. You don't need to see it.
I wanted to see it at the movie. Okay.
Well, I mean, of course you can. I mean, if your point is that you're struggling to make this happen. But then like, so the funniest thing for me was that, to my total surprise, Emilia Peréz has a Robbie Williams needle drop in it.
So everyone should know.
After all of that hootering and hollering about how nobody knows any of his songs and like they've never made it over here, but apparently everyone's seen Emilia Peréz and Love Supreme plays like very obviously in that movie to show that they are in London.
Oh, Love Supreme's a great song.
Like in the scene from the trailer where Zoe Saldana is like, are you? And then Emilia Peréz says bingo. In the actual movie, Love Supreme is playing in the background. So after I saw Better Man, I found out that one of the songs which is not in the movie, Suburban Sun, was only released in New Zealand just due to popular demand.
We love our Robbie.
We love Robbie the most.
And we're a market that loves novelty.
Yeah. So that song is Just For Us, Win Some, Lose Some / Suburban Sun. It's only available on the Robbie Williams Best Of compilations in New Zealand. And it was about his relationship with the woman from All Saints.
Oh.
We didn't have anywhere else to go. Ooh. Okay, so the other songs that were only famous in New Zealand.
So you've made made a list of these.
Yeah, and I wanted to read the list out.
Good.
Okay, so songs that, like, I think that at the time, like, people just didn't know that these were Australian songs, so these songs are only famous in Australia and New Zealand. Buses and Trains.
Yes.
You know. Hey,
No.
Mom, why didn't you want me? You know.
I've never heard that in my life, I'm sorry.
Yes, you have. Oh, come on. It's #1 song in New Zealand.
Buses and Trains.
Yeah.
By Bachelor Girl.
Yeah. I walked under a bus.
Oh,
I got
what?
hit by a train.
Why didn't you sing that bit?
Which is kind of the same.
I thought that was an American song that was world famous.
Crash my car. No, it's an Australian song. And so people who did not grow up in New Zealand or Australia do not know that song.
I reference that all the time.
The other songs in that category, Totally Addicted to Bass.
Yes, I knew about that one. And Not Pretty Enough as well.
Not Pretty Enough, yeah. If we have any foreign listeners, because I always assume that our foreign listeners are just New Zealanders who live in another country. But
never assume, Raz. They don't know about Buses and Trains by Bachelor Girl.
Okay, how does Totally Addicted to Bass go?
Totally addicted to bass. Wow, wow, wow. Whoa, whoa.
They too know what I know. Yeah, that's Totally Addicted to Bass.
Bow, bow, bow.
And the other one is, Am I not pretty enough? Is my heart too broken? And one of our friends came home from school and saw their mum watching the YouTube video of that by herself.
Wow, I mean, it's a song about Casey Chambers' relationship with the pop industry. As a country artist, yeah. she thought maybe she hadn't gotten a breakthrough hit because her heart was too broken. Sad story.
Other songs, Bomb Funk MC Freestyler is like #1 in New Zealand. It was like, it did something well in some European countries, but like that was it.
Oh, what? That's a huge tune.
And only popular in New Zealand, Ooh Stick You by Daphne and Celeste.
Banger.
Ooh, stick you, your mama too, and your daddy. It's an insane novelty song. And I think the most wild card one I know of, and have remembered at this time, is Robin Thicke's first song, When I Get You Alone.
That wasn't popular anywhere else?
No.
Fascinating.
Like, it was potentially popular in Canada where he is from, but it was like a #1 song in New Zealand, and they had an enormous amount of radio play. That's the one that has like Beethoven's Fifth in it. I can't remember any of it except the bit where it goes, "Baby girl, you wish."
Speaking of Canadians, Raz, I was reading Avril Lavigne's Wikipedia the other day. And her song Mobile was only a single in Australia and New Zealand for some reason. They just wanted to have a 5th single on Let Go.
So we're just massive Avril fans.
Huge pop punk fans down here. Because I'm pretty sure that, if I recall correctly, Dude Ranch by Blink-182. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Damn It, off of Dude Ranch by Blink-182, blew up in like Australia. Yes.
Is it that one?
That one. Apparently, it blew up I might be just making this up. I'm pretty sure it blew up in Australia and New Zealand before anywhere else, and so they were playing big festivals down here and before anywhere else.
I think occasionally in my life, people have been shocked that I don't know that much about Blink-182.
Well, you've got me to make up for it.
But I think that the thing there is that, like, a lot of my friends are trans and I'm not.
Jesus Christ. All right, Emilia Peréz. Of course, the most classic one of these is 10 Guitars by Engelbert Humperdinck. And I've got to recommend to everyone listening that you go to NZ On Screen and you watch the 10 Guitars TV documentary about 10 Guitars. It's got like Delvanius in it and stuff.
I didn't know Engelbert. I didn't know 10 Guitars wasn't a New Zealand song.
Yeah. It's just like a random single that was a failure everywhere in the world. Apparently he came to, I feel like I've told the story on the podcast before, but apparently he came to play at like the Sky City Theatre, and he booked out like 3 nights. And the first night he didn't play 10 Guitars because he had no idea that it was like his popular song. He just thought he was selling out New Zealand theatres for like whatever reason. And he got so many like complaints and shit that not only did he have to get his band to learn it and add it to the subsequent nights, he put on another concert for the people who came to the first one and didn't get to hear 10 Guitars.
Oh my God. We love 10 Guitars. 10 Guitars is a Māori anthem.
That's basically what the documentary is about. You got to see it. It's really good. It's got a whole bunch of incredible New Zealand musicians kind of vaguely playing their way through 10 Guitars.
There was a teacher at my primary school who like was trying to sell a CD of his own cover of 10 Guitars that was like in different languages.
Yo, that's sick.
The other film that's nominated that I've seen,
yes,
is Memoir of a Snail for Best Animated Feature.
Oh, is that good?
It's very... I saw it the day after we recorded the last podcast. Aside from the Christmas one, is one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen.
Okay, oh fuck, okay. It's like Requiem for a Dream, but with snail people.
So it's claymation. It's about this woman who, in her childhood, her mum died when her mum died in childbirth. And so she lived with her twin brother and her dad, who was a French guy who used to be a mime, but then he became disabled and he was unable to continue as a mime.
Fuck, man.
This is all set in Australia.
Not a lot of work for mimes in Australia, I will say.
In Melbourne. I don't know if you've seen a lot of mimes there. I saw it in Melbourne. I saw the movie in Melbourne. So then her dad ends up dying, and then it's just her and her twin brother, but then they get sent to different foster families. And she gets sent to this couple in Canberra who don't really have much time for her. They're like, they are nudists and they play netball or something like that. And they're always like going on nude cruises. And then they sort of abandon her.
Oh my God.
And meanwhile, her brother gets sent to a Christian fundamentalist apple farm in WA. And then they end up torturing him because he was gay and he like kissed one of the sons.
Fuck.
And then
is he a snail as well?
No, and then so what happens is that sort of all this sort of happens to her, and in that, like, the only thing that and so they tell her that her brother's dead. He died in a fire when he tried to like get away from the family.
Yeah.
And he dies the day before her wedding, and like the only thing that's like got her through life is her collection of snail and snail memorabilia. But she finds this guy who, you know, wants to get married and stuff. But then she finds she finds that he is a chaser. She finds out that he is a chubby chaser, and he has been feeding her like all this sort of like protein and lard and stuff in all her food so that she can get fatter, and has done this to a number of other women, and has this like collection of photographs and like diaries about how much they weighed and like how he was like trying to get them fatter and stuff. So she ends up like breaking up with him, and then she gets arrested for shoplifting Snail stuff. And she only has this one friend who's this like extremely elderly woman who like dies at the beginning, and then the rest of the movie is her like telling the snails why she's like gonna kill them because she's finished with her life. Yeah, it all just sort of stays that bad, except when she like goes to her court hearing, the judge is a guy that who was formerly homeless, who she helped when she was younger in Melbourne, and he recognizes her, and he's like, I'm so sad that this has like happened to you, and so I'm not going to send you to jail or anything, so you can like get your life back on track. And then it works out in the end.
That sounds miserable. Did you enjoy it?
It was so miserable. Like, I think it was a good movie, but I found it unrelentingly bleak. And then the most shocking thing to me was at the end, I saw it at Cinema Nova, was that when they brought up who the voice actors were, the whole audience was like, oh. It's like they didn't recognize anyone in it. And it was like, it was Sarah Snook, Magda Szubanski, and Eric Bana, I think.
Oh, just the most famous Australians.
It was like the most famous Australians. And just like sitting in this Australian audience, all these people being like, oh, I had no idea. Oh, really? Well, she did a very good job.
Well, I might have to go see that in order to maintain my residency.
And then Cinema Nova had all of the claymation models there that you could look at.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's Memoir of a Snail. I think I said before on the podcast, I don't really like animation in general, but I have seen that one. Because I wanted to get on board with this $10 Monday or whatever it is, and at the time I had accidentally got myself locked out of the hotel.
Shout out Cinema Nova, not shout out
Ibis.
Ibis.
Well, it was my fault, so it's alright.
Okay. Upcoming films. I really want to see a movie called Castration Movie.
Oh, is that actually what it's called? I thought you just forgot the name of it.
No, it's called Castration Movie, directed by Louise Weird. It's like a kind of transgressive, transsexual, like extremely low budget film. It is showing in Melbourne soon, but not on a day that I can go to see it. So you can buy it. I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. Yes, you can buy a link to watch the movie on her Gumroad website. So it looks like it's really cool. And it's got extremely good reviews. This is what I've been craving from queer indie cinema my entire life. IndieWire. Genuinely lived in from top to bottom. Mubi. So I'm going to be watching Castration Movie, and I'll let you know how it goes. But also, you've got some dates here of stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm going to read out the dates. Okay, so this is the stuff coming up. Today, 30th of January, Baby Girl, Maria, which Amelia's dad has already seen. Baby Girl is
he thought it was fantastic, even though she wasn't really doing the singing.
Okay, so Maria is the Maria Callas biopic starring Angelina Jolie, who doesn't
incredible
do the singing
voice.
herself. Ted Berry approved. Baby Girl is the sort of like, what is it called? Like
It's the Nicole Kidman
Nicole
sub-dom
Kidman
movie,
sub-dom
right?
movie. Companion is that guy and Sophie Thatcher, and she is sort of like a Stepford Wives type of horror movie. 20th of February, as we said, I'm Still Here, starring Fernanda Torres. It's so confusing that her and her mum have the same first name and different last names. Best Picture nominated. And also on 20th of February, Bird is coming out, which is, I don't know, I've seen the trailer, I do not know what it's about, but it's starring Barry Keoghan and our friend of the pod, Franz Rogowski. I can't remember what we tried to learn. And the 13th of March, this is quite far away now, but I am going to go through these because there's some that are like being talked about and they are so far away for their release dates here. 13th of March, there's a movie coming out called Hard Truths, which is the new one from Mike Lee. And it stars Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who is in one of my favorite movies, In Fabric.
We love In Fabric on the pod. Friend of the pod, In Fabric.
Friend of the pod, In Fabric. But she's also in that movie, that Guy Madden movie that you saw that I didn't get to see because it didn't get released here.
Rumors.
The politics one?
Rumors.
Okay. So I think it's great to see her in a starring role. You know who she is, right?
Yes, she was in both of those movies.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I wasn't 100% sure.
I mean, I didn't know from the name, but I knew after you said who was in Fabric and Rumors, I was like, oh, yes.
Yes. So anyway, I think it's great to see her have a starring role in a Mike Lee film rather than being like a side character, and also in a straight movie that I think will get more people like interested in her.
Yes.
Rather than like some fucking weird bullshit that we like. The Last Showgirl comes out. That's the Pamela Anderson movie that also has Kiernan Shipka and Brenda Song in it.
That's meant to be sick. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, that's 20th of March.
Awesome.
I think it could be earlier in Australia because it had a lot of trailers like when I was in Hobart last week. 3rd of April, Queer. Hell, 17th of April, Mickey 17.
We're getting 1970s release delays now.
I know. That's Robert Pattinson and Bong Joon-ho. Effort.
It's the Robert Pattinson and Bong Joon-ho joint.
Joint. Yeah, there we go. That's all right. Joint. And that's it. That's my list.
Hell yeah. Well, this has fuck. I've actually got one. I was all ready to like go to the end of the thing. But I saw a movie advertised at Cinema Nova that I think looks really cool. So there's a film called Universal Language that apparently is set in a mysterious and surreal interzone somewhere between Tehran and Winnipeg. And it's an absurdist triptych. So, I don't know. Looks mean. I don't know that much about it, but I will be looking forward to that from the 20th of March.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll have another podcast by then. We only had the delay between these two podcasts because we did the Christmas special right after the other one.
That one was early. This one's just on time, unless it takes me ages to edit it because I'm moving house this weekend.
Right.
Praying for us on that front. I'm almost all packed.
That's what the podcast listeners are most worried about.
This has been Cinema Bing Bong with me, Amelia, and my dear friend, Rebecca.
Amelia, not Emilia.
No, Emilia Peréz. Yeah, you can find us on Blue Sky and Instagram at Cinema Bing Bong. And if you give us a rating on your podcast app, or you tell your mates that it's fun to listen to us ramble on about stupid bullshit, that would mean the world to me. Are you ready for a hard question, Raz?
Yes.
If you were given the opportunity to create a new Oscar category that would be considered as important as the Big Four, it's getting added.
What?
It's getting added, and they're so excited about a new category, they're putting it right at the top of the list. What's your new category?
Best representation.
All right, who's winning Best Representation in 2025?
Emilia Peréz.
Woo!
Wouldn't that be so fun?
So you're getting the wokest movie award.
Yeah. Except they spin it as no, it's normal. It's it's a skill of filmmaking to represent the people of the world.
I mean, I guess the art of film is essentially about representing an image of something, isn't it? The people. It's about.
But how about the category is best representation? Every fucking year they pick a worse one.
They'll do it as well.
They pick obviously Green Book, Everything Everywhere All at Once. That would be sort of that would be Parasite. Be like, what the fuck? These people are just Korean. I can't think of a really offensive movie right now.
Crash. That's the one everyone always talks about.
Yeah, that's the one everyone always talks about. Okay, let's think of one more offensive movie that could win Best Representation.
Nosferatu, bisexual representation.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, that's good, because my category was going to be best themes.
That's good too.
Who had the best themes?
What are the best themes? And
it has to. It lists the themes in the winner. It'll be Anora, culture clash.
Fuck. Oh my god. For famine and the drug trade, the award goes to Dune 2.
Okay, I think that's the end. I think that's the end of the plot.
Hello again. This is a PS for Cinema Bing Bong January episode. We forgot to say why my mum thought Emilia Peréz was offensive, which was she thought it was really offensive to the Swiss people and Switzerland because it showed it as really foggy, just constant snowstorms and a really shit place to be, which she's been to Switzerland and it wasn't like that at all.